Blog Talk Radio.
It's Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the Blog Talk Radio Network. Once again, it's time for the most intriguing talk radio on the internet today. This is Sasquatch Radio. Breaking news and information from around the world. Interviews with men and women investigating the mystery. The latest high-tech equipment. Cutting-edge research techniques. And amazing discoveries. Real-life people sharing real-life encounters. The director and founder of Sasquatch, Washington, Virginia. Here is your host, Billy Willard. Something is out there in the dark, watching, waiting. It's time to unleash the beast. This is Sasquatch Radio.
All right, welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Here we are in a new year. It's hard to believe. Monday night, January 4th, 2010. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday and a happy new year. And I hope nobody got too drunk and plastered and fell on the floor or put a hole in their bathroom wall. So anyway, I'd like to welcome to my co-host, Mr. Mike Killen. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Hey, Billy. So it sounds like you might know a little bit about that.
Let's just say that there's someone probably hanging around somewhere that knows a little bit about putting holes in bathroom walls. So
yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. How was your holiday? Did Santa Claus treat you good, and did you get you didn't get drunk, did you?
No, I got a couple of new pieces of gear for field research, so that's good, and a new sleeping bag and a new bigger backpack.
There you go.
And I'm working on getting a sleeping ground pad to go with the sleeping bag, so hopefully I can get that for the spring. But my New Year's was quiet. Basically, just stayed at home, and I mean, there's too much risk, too many drunks on the road. I mean, some people go right after work. Some people go on New Year's Eve. They leave work. Sometimes people, depending on their hours, they might be done at 4. They get off work at 4 or 5. They go right to the bar, and I don't even want to be on the road even at 8 or 9, much less any time close to midnight.
Right.
So, stayed home. Yeah, quiet.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's best that way.
Yeah. Hey,
you never know what you're going to run into out there in the road.
Yeah, and I don't need a bar if I want a couple of cold beers. I just got to walk to the fridge.
Good. Good way.
And it's a damn sight cheaper too.
Yes, definitely. It's a lot better to pay. What is it now? Around $6 or something like that for I don't know. It's been a long time. I can't drink beer because it something about beer I can't drink. Now I can drink the hard liquor, so I can tell you the price of that all day. But the beer, I just don't keep up with the prices. But what is it? Somewhere around $6-8 for a 12-pack. Versus a can is like what, or a glass is like $3 at the bar.
Well, I think probably a lot more than that. I haven't really been frequenting bars myself in a number of years. But I mean, the last time I remember, I think I paid just about $5 for a bottle, and that was back some years, at least up here anyway. It was like $5 for a bottle. I mean, you go to the grocery store, you can buy a whole 6-pack for just about that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, without further ado, we'd like to get our guest on the line with us. We have with us tonight. We had rescheduled because we couldn't get a hold of each other last time we had her on, but we've got her on here now, and everybody give a warm welcome to Miss Lori Ledger. She is the author of the book called The Night Walker. I have already received some emails from folks that has already read her book and enjoys it very much, so just letting you know that, Lori, there's a lot of people like your book. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm excited about finally getting to be on your show tonight.
Well, we're excited to have you. I don't know what happened last time. I never could get a hold of you, but I kept getting busy signals. I was like, well.
Well, I'm old school. I'm still on dial-up.
There you go.
I was online trying to find you.
Persistence pays off, Billy. You know, persistence paid off in this case.
That's right.
Finally got her on. Good to have you with us, Lori.
Well, I'm enjoying being here already. And just for the record, Miller Lite is $8 a bottle at Applebee's.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you could buy a whole pack for that. Goodness. Wow. Yeah, that's something I haven't been able to drink. I don't know what it is. It turns my stomach. I have never been able to drink beer, but now give me some hard stuff and we don't have a problem. Matter of fact, I was drinking, Michael like this, I was drinking Long Island iced teas on New Year's Eve. So.
Hey, if they're made right, if the bartender really, really knows how to make them right, you can't beat it. I mean, if it's made right, you don't even taste the alcohol. It literally tastes like iced tea. And you don't even know, you know, and you drink 2 or 3 or 4 of those, and next thing you know, the room is spinning, and you didn't even taste the alcohol if they know how to make it right.
Well, I know my limit, and my limit is 3. You know, once I get to 3, I have to stop. After that, I don't really know what's going on. So.
I don't drink beer either. I just cannot stand the taste. I like mixed drinks, especially like the fruity tasting ones.
Yeah.
And we were all at Applebee's one night, and I don't remember the drink, but it had a lot of Cool Whip in it. And I was like, oh, I'm just handling this drink good. And I did like 5 or 6 of them, and I'm like, well, they're just ripping us off. They're not putting alcohol in this.
Yeah.
We went to leave, and when I stood up, it hit me all at one time. I was high-stepping like a giraffe trying to leave Applebee's.
Yeah, some of them drinks will do that. I mean, if you can't taste the alcohol in them, you think it's just a nice, good, fruity drink, and you just keep drinking, and before you know it, it just sneaks right up behind. So, well, anyway, it's great to have you on. So I know what everybody probably wants to know, and that is what got you interested in the subject of Bigfoot? I mean, obviously you have an interest. You wrote a book about it. So
I've never met one. I've never seen one. I've never heard one, but I've been fascinated with it since I was a little girl. And I've been wanting to write a book for years, and so I just finally put the 2 things together and sat down and started writing. And I didn't even know where the book was going to go to start with. I just happened to come across a website one night about the Hoopa Indians. Mm-hmm. And I started reading on them and found out their legends of what they believe, you know, of shapeshifters is a Bigfoot. And so in my fiction book, everything's false except about the Hoopa Indians and their legends, and just everything about them are true. I've heard from a lot of people from there because I sent them a lot of books, just so they would have it, because I wrote about Happy Camp and everything. And it's just, I really don't know how to explain it without giving good stuff away. It's about a young girl, a single mom here in Mississippi who's just having a real rough time. And she gets on a bus, decides to see where God will lead her, and her kids find themselves across country getting off a Greyhound in California on the Indian reservation. Mm-hmm. Well, there's romance in it, of course, you know, because they got to get the women readers in there. And she falls in love with Fallon. Fallon is the reservation sheriff there. And as she's living there and starts getting settled in, she starts learning all the legends of the Indians, and then Bigfoot starts reaching her through dreams before she actually gets to meet him. And my Bigfoot's not bad, you know. He's not like Legend of Boggy Creek where they say he's eating the cattle and stuff. My Bigfoot's a good guy, you know. Right. Everybody who reads it loves Bigfoot in this book. Right. And I have so many people after me to start on the second book, but I haven't got a chance to start the second one yet because I'm writing a different book on, you know, something else.
Right.
But so far it's selling really great, and I was surprised to find out that I had more men fans of this book than women, because there is poaching and kidnapping and murder, but you also have some sex and you have romance, so it's meant to reach out to everybody, and the Bigfoot world has just seemed to really like this book, and I never thought that people would like it as much as they have been.
You just said a key word. Now, you're going to get a fellow by the name of JC all worked up in the chat room because you just said it had sex in the book. he'll probably be the next person to buy a copy of it, and he'll be asking me if there's pictures.
No pictures.
Any questions in the chat room yet, Mike?
I have not seen any. No.
Okay.
Well, that just shot me down.
I think. I think the only thing. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Actually, I just scrolled back up. Yeah, I must have missed it. Yeah, Kite Squatch. Just he was asking where is she from?
Mississippi.
Yeah, he says she sounds like she's from here.
Yeah, it's not going to be long. They'll start making fun of me because I have an accent too. I'm from down the southern part of Virginia, and they, there's a fella in the chat room by the name of Irish Guy who always asks everybody to interpret what I'm saying. So that's okay. That's okay. I know where he lives. But anyway, so you wrote this book. Obviously, the book is a book of fiction. Now, I do have a question that I had emailed to me earlier today. Let me see if I can find this real quick. She wanted me to word this in a way because she didn't want you to feel like she was offending you with this question.
Oh, okay.
It was just something that she noticed in the book,
okay.
And she thinks that you may have done it purposely. So this is what she wanted to ask is, let me see if I can find it here. Where'd she write it at? Her question is, she says the entire book seems that it wasn't edited. She says she saw some grammar and spelling and spacing errors, some punctuation errors, but she also noticed that some words were misspelled, almost like giving it a southern accent.
That's exactly what it was.
Okay, that's what she wanted to know.
Yeah.
Is that was probably deliberate.
Oh yeah.
On
my book signing tour, when I went to Louisiana, of all places, I had people speaking to me there about the southern accent, and to me, theirs is a lot stronger than mine.
Right.
But, they're like, you just talk so southern. And I'm like, well, you do too. We're only a few hours apart.
That's right.
But, yeah, right. It was deliberate. It was.
Yeah. All right, that was her question. So I think she knew that that's what it was, but she just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Let me see. We've got a caller here, but this might be Abe listening in, but we'll double check just to make sure. Skype caller, is this Abe? We have a Skype caller on the line. Hello. Oh, maybe it's not Abe. Oh, they hung up.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't Abe, or maybe he lost his connection. I know sometimes he has a problem with that connection.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but anyway. Okay, did you have any other questions? I'll go ahead and...
Well, we had a question from Bill Green.
Oh, okay.
His standard question. He was wondering if the guest investigates any sightings or footprints in her state.
No, I haven't. Tom Piscardi has been trying to get me to meet up with him to go out and do some research with him, but I haven't been able to yet because, like I had told Billy earlier, we've discussed that I'm writing Tom Piscardi's autobiography right now. Plus, I have 3 kids at home, so between writing books and 3 kids at home, I don't get a lot of free time to investigate, but I plan to do it one day. I told Tom maybe next time he was in Texas I could meet up down there. I think it would be a lot of fun. I really do. Even though I'm scared of the dark, but if there's a lot of people around, it would be okay. But I've never been out on the expedition.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been down there to the one site that he's been to, Paris, Texas, down there.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting place. And probably some of the most scariest sounds down there in that part of Texas were probably the hogs, the wild hogs.
Yeah, we have a lot of those.
Oh
here.
My goodness, when them things get to hollering out there, and they sound like they're getting closer and closer, you're like, okay, where's the nearest tree?
That would definitely scare me.
It's something, because when they get to fighting out there in the dark, I mean, it sounds like a major riot going on. So
yeah.
I think I saw some questions for Mike.
Well, let's see. Let me stop the scroll here. I'm chuckling here. A couple of comments in the chat. Lots of text in large print here in caps, but I don't. Those aren't questions. Here's a question from Regina. Are there any aspects of the character Erin that may be parts of yourself?
Yes. I'm not going to say which, but yes. A lot of Erin, yes.
Okay.
It helps you work through things when you get to set and write it out in paper like that.
Right. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, Lori, and just understand that we're just having a discussion. But as you know, Mr. Biscardi doesn't have a lot of friends.
I've been noticing that. Yeah.
So I think everybody's question is what made you decide to hook up with Mr. Biscardi to do an autobiography about him?
I've never met Tom. He had me on a radio show. He has a radio show he does like yours, and he had me on there twice. And then after he read my book, he called and contacted me about doing his autobiography. Mm-hmm. And he sent that to me recently, and I've got the first couple chapters so far. But we've never met in person or anything like that. But from what he sent me, it sounds like he's had a very lucrative life doing it, you know. But to be honest, I'm new in the Bigfoot world. I really am.
Right.
I've always had this interest, but I've never been on any kind of expeditions or anything like that. And he's the first person, and basically you're the second person I have talked to that I consider big time, you know.
Right.
I've got some really crazy emails from some people. I had one lady from California, from the Hoopa Valley, who actually swore up and down she was having a love affair with Bigfoot. I've got some crazy emails, yeah. And when I get them like that, I just ignore them.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do.
I don't reply back because it kind of scares me. But you know, I'm getting a lot of information. People sending me pictures, whether they're real or not, I don't know. But I enjoy getting them. People just send me all kinds of great stuff. So I'm having fun just getting to know all this stuff that y'all have been doing for years.
Yeah. Well, I've personally only been in this for 5 years now. We do a lot of research, particularly on. I guess you could call us weekend warriors, you know, because we all have our full-time day jobs. So I wish this could be a full-time job and we get paid, but it don't work that way.
Yeah.
But you know, it is a fun thing to do. Getting out, you know, make new friends. Just being out in the woods, you know, camping, and you know, just being out in nature. You know, it's just one of the greatest things about this whole thing. Now, everybody's telling me to tell you to get away from Biscardi.
He might be listening in right now.
I know, he may be. But
it was scaring me when Mike said he's getting a lot of large caps and text. I was like, oh my God.
Let's see. I think I got a caller back on the line. Let me see if I can get him on this time. Caller from the Skype phone. You're on the air.
Yeah, sorry about that earlier, guys. It was me. I had myself on mute, but
okay.
I pressed the wrong button, and I guess I got disconnected. But yeah, just called to listen in.
All right. Thanks, Abe. Just put your little hand up if you got a question.
Will do. Appreciate it.
Thanks. He's got a little crying young one in the background, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, was there any other questions before I get to my line of questioning, Mike?
I didn't see any questions, lots of comments.
Yeah.
Which you know.
Well, please let everybody know, you know, I don't know anything about any, oh God, how do I word it? Any drama or friction or anything in the Bigfoot world. So, you know, if Tom and somebody has a problem or something, don't look bad at me for it. I don't know nothing about any of it.
Well, I think they realize that. They're just telling us to you know, they're telling us to have you do your research. You know, because that's all you got to do is type in his name, and you're going to see quite a few things. And we, you know, again, I don't want to make this show about Tom Biscardi because it's not what the show's about. The show's for you and your book, and you know, you know, I will say that there are some things out there that are very controversial, well, beyond controversial, but we won't talk about those here. So.
Well, I hope some of the listeners do decide to buy the book. I mean, it is a very good book, but like I said, it is fiction.
Right.
So, but the only research on the book actually is with the Hoopa Indians. That's it.
Okay. Now, now you said you've had an interest, I guess, since you were young.
Yeah.
On the whole subject. Did you, like when you were going to school, did you try to read all the books you could on the subject?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would even draw the pictures of him on the back of my tablet and have to stay after school. I don't know whatever started the interest in it. I really don't. It's as far back as I can remember. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people who say it's not real. We don't know that. You know, I feel like it is.
Right.
And my brother, when he was alive, we used to sit and debate on it all the time. And he's like, there's too many people in the world. You know, if there was a Bigfoot, everybody would see it. Well, not necessarily. I'm not turning this all around on the Bible or anything, but I believe in God even though I've never seen him. You know, I know he's there.
Right.
I think Bigfoot's probably just something that God gave enough sense to stay hidden, to stay away.
Right.
And honestly, I don't think we're supposed to find it. I don't know.
Right.
You know, because there are some people, I believe, if they found it, they would protect it. But I believe there's others, if they found it, they would butcher it up to do tests on it.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of there's probably some people out there that would want a trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, and that's you know, that's unfortunate because these things do, you know, really do look a lot like us in a way, other than the hair and stuff.
Yeah. Which is kind of Neanderthal, you know.
Right.
So.
Right. I thought I saw a question in there, Mike. Yeah. I hear you laughing. He found
it.
You're gonna like this one, Lori. This is a standard question. Anytime we have a female as a guest, this is a standard question from one person.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. Bill's got his standard questions, and JC has his, right?
That's right.
Although
JC's the one you warned me about a minute ago, right?
Yeah. Although one of JC's other standard questions is who's bringing the Oreos on the expedition, but that's another standard question. But yeah, this is from our buddy JC. Yeah, he's the he's the one Billy was telling you about. He wants to know is Lori married?
Yes, I am.
Ah, too bad.
Yeah.
JC, you hit bottom again, man. You just can't win.
For the time being, anyway, JC.
Uh-oh. We won't go there.
I feel like I need a cigarette now.
Oh, goodness.
We just had another question if you want to take it from Regina. She just posted it.
Go ahead.
She says, ask Lori, without giving away the ending, why did the story end the way it did? I don't know if you could answer that without giving it away, but she's asking if there's a way to explain how the story ended without giving it all away.
I'm trying to think of a way to answer it.
Right, a way to answer it.
Regina will be able to follow me here. Let's see.
Okay. Because,
Regina, all the way through the book, I'm thinking you probably loved Aaron, right? So I had to throw a little shock in there. But because of the way it ended, you will love book 2.
Uh-oh.
I think she's following me there without me saying anything. But if she was in love with Aaron, and she must have been to wonder about the ending of it, she'll really love the second one that I have in mind. So.
Okay. And, all right, that means that you're going to have to buy the second copy now. Let's go get you all excited, Regina. Now, let me get out my my list of questions, because I know that you've been following Bigfoot as far as your interest is concerned for quite some time, and I've got a standard list of questions that I ask people, because the people who listen to this radio show like to hear everyone's opinions on what they think about certain things regarding Bigfoot, so that's why I have these list of questions.
Okay.
And I got to see if I can pull them up here. I usually have them up, but I didn't have them up today. Here we go. Let me just pull them up here. You got anything, Mike, before I get started?
Well, we actually had a question, actually two just now. Andy Drew typed in one. There's one from Kite Squatch and one from Andy Drew in the chat. And I don't know if you want to entertain a follow-up from JC on his last question.
Oh, you might as well.
He's got a follow-up. He just doesn't want to take no for an answer. I give you credit, JC. You're like a pit bull. His follow-up to is she married, he wants to know how happily is she married?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to plead the fifth.
If she only knew JC like we knew JC, she would appreciate the humor in that. But do you want me to ask the next two questions, or you want to
go ahead? Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Kite Squatch is asking, what did she do for research for her book? Like before you wrote your novel, what kind of research did you do, I guess?
Well, what I'd done originally was I got online and I started looking up places in the Hoopa Valley and in Happy Camp, and I got a hold of a lady. I don't know if I'm not going to say her name because I don't know if she would like me to or not, but she works at the library there, and she helped me a lot, giving me tons of information, and I went from there to buying some books. And are you there? I dropped the phone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I bought a couple books, but I would say probably 90% of everything I learned from them was from the woman at the library and online. I've never been there. The pictures that she has sent me from there is a gorgeous, gorgeous place, but I haven't been there personally.
All right. You got another one, Mike, did you say?
Yeah, actually, there's been a couple now. Since there was two. There was Kite Squatch and Andy Drew, and then after that, just a little further down, we got Texas Dragon typed in one, and I believe there's another one after that. So, I don't know how many you want to take before you get to your list.
Oh no, don't. You know what? Everybody that's in the chat and listening to the show, I always let them have. We'll let them have first go at this. So go ahead.
Okay. All right. So then we'll go right into Andy Drew's question. He's next on the list. He says, question for Lori, from beginning to end, how long did it take you to write the book?
4 months.
Oh, so you was on top of that book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a laptop, and it went with me everywhere. I'd plug in at my sister-in-law's house, at my mother's house.
Wow.
Anywhere I could run from the kids with the laptop, I did.
Wow. All right. Keep going, Mike.
All right. Then the next question is from Texas Dragon 55 on the chat. He says, "Ask Lori how long did she take to write her back, and what area did she focus on?" I'm not sure what he means by to write her back, but I'm reading it verbatim. That's exactly how it's typed. Ask Lori how long did she take to write her back.
It might have just been booked for some reason. But.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I'm reading it word for word.
Okay. I don't know how I answer that.
What was the second part? Because she already answered the first part.
What area did she focus on?
Okay.
What does he mean by what area?
Probably
in California?
Yeah, it was in California, right? The Hoopa.
Most of it was in a Happy Camp, in the reservation. It just stayed between those two places right there.
Okay. All right. And was there any more, Mike?
I was just, give me 1 second. I was just scrolling down to see if Texas Dragon, he said it was book. Sorry, typo. I wanted to see if he responded to what we were reading.
We all do it.
Yeah, he wrote, okay, says book, sorry, typos, LOL. Okay. All right. We just wanted to be clear, Tex, that's all. I just read them as it's typed, folks. Sometimes I can read between the lines and figure exactly what people mean and play detective and decipher the question. Other times, not so good. Okay, let's see. Next question. Let's scroll back up. That was Texas. Let me see. Thought there was one in here that might not have been a cap. Sometimes they sneak one in on me. Okay, here's one from Spin Dave. Spin Dave in the chat says, question, when you start writing your novel, do you know the ending when you start, or does the ending develop over time?
With me, my ending developed over time. I had no idea what direction I was going to go with it.
Okay.
I would play music. I always have headphones on because the music just helps with the mood of what you're writing. And I would surprise myself sometimes with what my brain come up with. I really would, but no, I had no idea of my ending at the time.
Oh, yeah, so not predetermined at all, nothing?
No.
Okay. All right, let me see if there's any further questions. Go down to the very bottom here.
I'll go ahead and give out the call-in number if anyone wants to call in and ask Lori a question. The call-in number tonight is 347-237-5070. Again, that number is 347-237-5070. And I will also place that number in the chat just so that people have it in print. And did you have any other questions, Mike?
No, I did not see another question. I'm scrolling back just to double check, but no, I don't see another one after that.
All right, then I'll start on my questions.
All right.
So, Lori, you said that you haven't yet got out into the field, but it's something you want to do?
Right.
Okay.
I would love to do it.
Right. You said you hadn't had your own sighting?
No.
Okay. Now, in the research you've done and from all your interest you've had in this from being young, what do you think it's going to take to bring proof to the world that this thing exists?
Oh, Lord, to bring the proof. I haven't ever actually thought of it that way. I do think that it should be registered somewhere from the proof that we've gotten already. Mm-hmm. Like when they get hair samples or something, it always comes up as unknown. Right. Well, if they would go ahead and put that in, then we would have a known thing, But as far as, I don't believe that a live one will be caught. I don't.
Right.
And actually, I hope not, because like what we were talking about earlier, I'm just too scared of government or somebody stepping in and killing it.
Right.
And I really think that's what will happen if one is captured.
Right.
Do you
think a video would be enough? I mean, we've got that famous film from the 60s, Patterson Gimlin, and that's probably, it is the best on film, proof of a Bigfoot or Sasquatch creature, and that doesn't seem to be good enough to prove its existence. I mean, do you think a video is going to do it or a picture?
Not a picture, because pictures can be faked too easy,
yeah.
But a video possibly, because like with the film you were just speaking of, I remember seeing a thing where they were talking about how they broke it down, and they were talking about the length of the arms and the way the arms swung when it walked and the way that the breast moved when it turned and looked at the camera. All of that looked real, and they said it was real. Mm-hmm. And I believe a good video, with a good video, but too many of what we see right now is like a little black spot 3 miles away climbing a hill. Yep,
yeah.
So,
I personally have always thought that, and this is probably going to be nearly impossible, but, if a person could get close enough, which seems to be an issue all in itself,
right.
If a person could get close enough to one way to prove that someone's not walking around in a suit is if you were able to get a front view video of the picture of the face making certain movements that just simply can't be done with a costume.
Right.
I mean, but it would, again, how do you accomplish that? We can't even go out there with the purpose of finding one. Like Patterson and Gimlin, when they were out, they were allegedly just going on horseback and just looking. I mean, they didn't expect to run across something, and lo and behold, walks right in front of their horses there. But
I think it probably has an amazing sense of smell and hearing, probably night vision too.
Yeah.
And with a lot of people going out on expeditions, I think that's like a big neon sign letting it know, run, go, hide.
Yeah.
I believe one person out there, if they were out there long enough and their human smell was wore off, from the dirt and the trees and the leaves, they would have a much better chance of coming across one than a whole group of people with lanterns and tents set up and the smell just reeking everywhere of human people camping.
Right. Yeah, I've always said that, just getting yourself familiar with an area. I mean, hunters notice this too. I mean, if a hunter goes to an area every single day during hunting season and sits in that same spot and it's completely quiet, I mean, before long you notice the squirrels being a little more active around you and other wildlife. It's almost like they're used to seeing something there, and they get a little more comfortable. It's probably what it's going to take is someone just spending some time out in the wilderness and really just patiently just staying there.
Right.
But, all right, Mike, I'll let you, I think I've seen some questions, so I'll let you get back at it.
All right. Yeah, we got a couple of them in there. Go back up here. We had another question from Spin Dave in the chat. Question says, are all publishing companies interested in Bigfoot stories, or are there just a few that specialize in Bigfoot fiction?
It took me 2 months of going through agents, and they would be very interested in my book until they found out my shapeshifter was a Bigfoot. Then they would drop me. They would drop me quick. I could not pique any of them's interest once they found out it was a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They would tell me, I had people telling me that vampires were the big hot thing, to change it to a vampire, or, that's not what my book was about at all. So actually what I'd done was my book was published through Book Surge. So it was basically a self-published book is what it was. But just to be honest, I don't understand why they're like that, but I got a lot of positives until they found out it was Bigfoot, and then they dropped me. So I don't know what the deal is with that.
Wow. Well, let's see. How long has the book been out now?
Since July.
Since July, okay.
Yeah.
All right, because I know that, they kind of put Bigfoot in that category. Sometimes I hate to say this, but they put it in that category of paranormal.
They listed mine under mythical creatures.
Okay, they put yours under, Yeah, they always put it under, something like that. That's like when I go to the bookstore, they put it under, believe it or not, they put it under pseudoscience. So, depends on where you're at, I guess. But
well, one good thing about it is I did receive a phone call, not from Oprah, but from one of the members of her staff, where she did accept my book onto her book club.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's just listed under fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they tell you this just to pump you up and make you feel good or not, but it made me feel good. They said that she read it and loved it.
Really?
But if she actually did, I don't know, but I like to believe she did.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's good. That would make anybody feel good, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Any more questions, Mike?
Yeah, I think we had another one or two. Just real quick commenting on the publishers. Like Lori said, they kind of tried to push her into changing the book to a vampire because, in their words, I'm paraphrasing Lori, that they told her that's what's hot right now. I'm sure, the publishers of the these publishers that print these books are probably think in the same vein as the editors and publishers of newspapers. They're just out to sell newspapers and or books in the case of a book publisher, and they probably they want to put what they think is hot, what's going to sell a lot out there. You know what I mean? So that's probably why they kind of shy away from something they feel there's not a large audience for. They're not going to, it's almost like, oh, that's not even worth my time. Why come to me with that? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And that's a shame. It's a shame that it's like that, but that's probably the reality. They probably think, well, it's kind of a small percentage of the population that would buy that book. Let's put our...
That's what they would tell me, I would hear how wonderful the book is, and they'd say, but to make it a seller, to make it perfect, change it to a demon or change it to a vampire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do that. That's not the story.
Well, that's it. I mean, they're asking you to, for lack of a better phrase off the top of my head here, they're asking you basically to, artistically, ruin the book. I mean, basically, you wrote it from a certain point of view, and they're basically it's maybe not the most popular thing, right? But you wrote it, artistically speaking, from the heart and all that. And this is something that you find interesting, and big business. That's the way it is. They just want to turn it around. What can we make the most money on? What's hot this month or this year? Oh, vampire. Okay, just the way it is. But
well, what made me feel good was my 15-year-old daughter. She loved it, and for Christmas, she gave all of her friends a copy of my book. And it just makes me feel good when they have a sleepover and hear all these teenage girls, and they're just talking about the book. And they're like, I'm Aaron, and Fallon's my man. And, if my daughter and her friends loved it, and the people that email me and stuff love it, I'm proud I kept it the way I did.
Yeah. And there's a lot to be said for that. There's a lot to be said for, for artistic integrity. The fact that you said, they wanted you to change it, and you stood fast and said, nope, I didn't write it that way. This is how I wrote it, and if you don't like it, then I'll go someplace else, or in this case, self-publish it or whatever. But there's a lot of, there's a lot to be said for that, for standing up for what you believed in and saying, nope, I'm going to do it this way.
Well, thank you.
When you could have cashed in maybe and sold more books doing it their way, but
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for sticking to your guns.
Well, thank you.
Next question we had was from Sasquatch, and he says, how many languages is her book published in?
English, as far as I know.
Well,
on
actually,
Amazon, they have it listed on Amazon, and I do think they have on there that they can publish it in, because what my book is print on demand. As you order it, then they print it. Mm-hmm. And they have it on like Book Club, Amazon. It's all on my website, the different sites that you can buy it from. I'm not even sure what they all are, but I think it's Amazon, if I'm not mistaken, that they print it in French or Spanish or something.
Yeah.
You could just go on Amazon and type in the Nightwalker, and it'll show you which it is. But I don't know.
Well, I've actually got a direct link to your book on Amazon on the front of our website radio show page. So
great.
If anyone wants to go and visit that, it's right on the front page. If you click on Lori Ledger's name, then right on the front of the radio page, you'll see the link to her book. So that way everybody can get to it easily.
Well, good deal.
Any other questions, Mike?
Yep. I got to scroll down there, but I was just going to add a little comment, a little funny aside. She was talking earlier about the language in the book, and I'd have to say, even if it's written only in English, I'd have to say it's actually in English and Southern, right? The way she was saying.
Yeah, there you go. Definitely Southern.
So it's in two languages.
My daddy, he lives in Rochester, New York, and when I sent him a copy, he called me by the third chapter, and he's like, is the spelling how you really talk down there? I'm like, yeah, Daddy, that's how you spell it.
Yeah.
But that was just trying to set the mood so people would get the feel of being, in the South.
Right.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could have printed one version for the southern states, and then printed another version with the Queen's English for the rest of the states. All right. I'm trying to find it. I lost my place here. Scrolling back and forth.
What'd you do? Freeze
that was
up
it.
the chat?
I thought there was another one, but I don't see.
Okay. I'll tell you what we'll do then is you can hold on, right, Lori? We're gonna do We'll do some quick commercials, and as soon as those commercials are over, we'll be right back. So just
okay.
This will give you a little breather if you need to take a little break.
Okay.
So as soon as these commercials are over, we'll be right back here in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
Sasquatch Watch Radio. Stay tuned.
We hope you're enjoying the show. If you get a chance, visit the Sasquatch Watch of Virginia website. It can be found at www.sasquatchwatch.net. Sasquatch Watch of Virginia is a Bigfoot and Wildlife Scientific Field Research Association. We conduct field investigations and field research within areas of reported encounters. Our friendly research methods do not strive to harm or kill any wildlife. We seek to be cooperative and not hurtful to any person or groups or to any public or private organizations. Feel free to visit our website. Have you had a sighting of a creature? Then feel free to call our hotline to submit your encounter. Our hotline can be reached at 703-445-4287. And remember, we specialize in sightings here in the state of Virginia. Or you can report your encounter at our website under the tab Report Your Encounter. We will make certain that someone gets in touch with you. And please enjoy your visit to our website. Again, it is www.sasquatchwatch.net.
June 19th and 20th, 2010 will mark the first annual Oregon Sasquatch Symposium in Eugene, Oregon. Speakers such as Autumn Williams, Scott Nelson, Ron Moorhead, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, David Rodriguez, Kathy Moskowitz-String, Solly Shepard-Walford, Cliff Garakman, Jaime Avalos, and Tom Powell will be only some of those in attendance. The OSS was designed for Oregon researchers and witnesses to come together and discuss the implications of Sasquatch. Tickets for the symposium are on sale now. For more information about the OSS, go to the website at www.oregonsasquatchsymposium.webs.com.
Paranormal Talk Radio, bi-monthly, Wednesday nights, 8 to 9 p.m. Central. Paranormal Talk Radio divas Melissa Hovey and Monica Rollins, never afraid to tell it like it is. Too hot for prime time. 60 minutes of take no grab you by the balls. Paranormal Talk Radio. 8 to 9 p.m. Central, every other Wednesday night on Blog Talk Radio. Paranormal Talk Radio with an attitude.
listening to Sasquatch Watch Radio on the Blog Talk Radio Network.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully everybody was able to take their, JC anyway, always needs to take a pee break about halfway through the show, so hopefully he was able to get that accomplished. If not, he can let us know, and we'll just keep going with the show, and he'll just have to miss it. So anyway, you still with us, Lori?
I'm still here.
All right. Mike, you still with us?
Yep.
All right. Was any questions coming across while we were at commercial break?
No, I didn't see any, and I thought before there was another question, but sometimes people, if I scan real quick, sometimes I scroll down real quick, some people just are typing in caps, comments to each other, and that's throwing me off.
No.
I thought there was a question, but I go to the bottom and I try to jump back up because then you're asking me, okay, what's the next question? So I got to jump back up quick, so I didn't really read it. I just saw the cap letters,
Right.
So sometimes they get me all the time, either they're putting comments to each other in caps that I think are questions when I look quick, or they put questions in small type that I sometimes miss. I think they do it on purpose. They're trying to.
I think they're just trying to throw you off.
They're trying to mess with me. That's all.
There, I saw one for you. One just came across there. A few up there from Spin Dave.
From Spin Dave. Yep.
Go for it.
He says, when you were writing the book, you must get interrupted continuously. How do you keep you so focused on the plot?
With kids, you get interrupted a lot, but what I would do is I would wait till they would go to bed, and then I would stay up and write all night. But my kids are 20, 15, and 11, so it's not like they're little kids, and they enjoyed me writing and coming in, and they'd want to know what part I'm on. And actually, they would give me a little insight, a few ideas into the story. So, no, I didn't really have that many interruptions, I don't guess. My kids were real good about it.
That's good.
And my husband's never here. He's always at work, so I just went around with a laptop and would just type. My favorite place is to go out back in the backyard, but now it's too cold to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be out there right now. All right. That was all of them, I guess, Mike, so far?
Yeah, except, JC chiming in.
Yeah, of course. He's trying
in
to
all
hear
caps. Yeah, he's typing in all caps because I mentioned it about comments in all caps. He's being funny. He's like, we like throwing you off, Mikey, and then he says, this is not a question, all in caps. Yeah. Okay, JC. Hey, JC, remember, I'm going to be down there, down your way in the spring, so.
Better watch out.
Yeah.
Where's Mike from? Where are you from, Mike?
Too much. I'm up here in New York. I'm on Long Island in New York.
Okay, because you've got an accent.
Yeah, we call him the Long Island Yeti. You would know why. He's got this suit that's all white, and that's kind of how he got that coined.
An all white suit, what, like Saturday Night Fever, or?
That's a snow suit. So if he's out in the snow, you can't see him.
Yeah, it's a military snow camouflage outfit. The whole thing from from head to toe. I mean, the head veil, boots are white, everything. I mean, if I go out, 50 yards in a white field of snow, I just disappear, And I came up with the idea a couple of years ago that, there are a few white creatures reported, but by and large, 99% of them are always reported as being dark colored, right? Dark brown, red, reddish brown, black, whatever have you, but dark. So I thought, well, okay, so when it snows, if you can make yourself blend into the background, be white, and they're dark, then maybe you have the advantage. If you have binoculars, you could see them from a distance, and they won't be able to see you.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
I broke out the white outfit on that expedition in spring of 2007 up in New York in the Adirondacks. We were on camping out in about a foot of snow, so it was a good time to break out the the snow camouflage suit. I'd had it for about a year and just hadn't used it yet, so I broke it out and got dressed in all white and went out for about 3 or 4 hours, if I remember right. Kind of scouting on my own there because I was the only one that had all white, and they kind of coined that phrase for me, the Long Island Yeti. Well, actually, there was 3 or 4 names that were thrown out, but I picked the lesser of the evils. I thought the Long Island Yeti was the best sounding nickname of I think Billy. I think you were calling me the Snow Beast or something.
Yeah.
There was about 3 or 4 names. I thought Long Island Yeti is probably the best of the bunch. I'll go with that.
Let's see. Bill Green got a question, I think it's in all caps.
Yeah. Bill Green, I just typed it in. Bill Green says, does she go to Bigfoot sighting locations?
No.
Okay.
I haven't known of any. So.
Yeah.
All right. And let's see here. I tell you, when you were doing your research, I know that you were researching at Happy Camp up there, and did you have a most favorite sighting report that you read?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of detail about it. It was about this man who went out with his family, and I believe they were fishing at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that a large male come out in front of him, and he was shooting over his head to scare him away. Mm-hmm. And then a smaller one came out. Right. Y'all may know which story I'm talking about. And he said when the smaller one came out, the big one became aggressive, and he shot him in the side. Mm-hmm. And that he tried to follow the blood, but it just went up into the rocky parts where he couldn't follow.
Right.
But it didn't go into a lot of detail with it. And I can't remember the names and stuff, but I liked reading about it.
Right.
Maybe because it was late at night, too, when I was reading it. Made it a little more spooky, but...
Yeah.
But, yeah, most of what I read was just their legends and their beliefs, because they believe that Bigfoot is a man, that he shapeshifts, and that he's there to protect the woods, the forest of the Klamath Mountains, to watch out for its people, which are the Indians. Their legends are just beautiful to me. I loved all of them.
Yep. All right. Any other questions, Mike?
There is a question from Andy Drew. Yep.
Okay.
Andy Drew says, do you ever get a block in your writing, I guess like a writer's block, creative standstill, walk away for a while, and then go back to it again later?
Oh, yes, definitely. I did that a lot, yeah. I would just... like I remember I got to one certain part in the book, and if Regina's still listening that it wrote earlier, she'll remember the part of when Erin had been kidnapped by the poachers, and when she was in the cabin, I just didn't know where to go from there, what I needed to happen next, because there's a lot of action in the book, and it took me 2 days to come back to that part.
Wow.
I just totally got stuck on the cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine every writer, I mean, all the way up to the greats, Tom Clancy, whoever you want to name, Stephen King, if you're a writer, you're going to have those writer blocks. I mean, that's just going to happen, right? I mean, I don't think you can write anything longer than a short story or a short report and not get writer's block. You write something over 100 pages, it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. All right, let me get to another one of my questions. Let's see. from a researcher standpoint, if you're thinking about the researchers, and I know you've done a lot of research about all the different people out there, what do you think is probably the most important tool in their arsenal for research?
Of what they use on the expeditions?
Yeah.
It would have to be, one, the voice recorder, because I don't think any person could make those sounds.
Right.
And a video camera.
Yep. Yeah, I think camera by far is definitely probably the most important. How many times as people went out, I've heard of a lot of people going out and actually having a sighting and actually forget they have the camera, because they're in shock at what they're seeing. They're like, "Oh man, I had a camera."
Let me ask you a question. This is something I've wondered. Down here, a lot of the hunters, because hunting's real big here, have these special cameras that they hook up on the trees, and then they can leave, and it films the deer, coming in.
Yeah.
Do they use those on the expeditions?
Yes. Yeah. We, matter of fact, I use them on my research areas. I've got a couple of areas here in the state of Virginia where we've had past sightings on the properties, and we will typically get these, they call them game cameras, and we'll hang these game cameras in the woods, hoping that something will pass in front of it. Now, no one's really had any real luck with them, but I think it's just a matter of time, before. The way I look at it is, if one of these things are coming through the woods, yes, they may be able to see the thing, they may be able to smell it, I don't know. Maybe they can smell it, maybe they can see it because it's man-made material, I don't know. But what I'm hoping is that one day one will let its guard down, whether it's being, lo and behold, chased by a pack of barking dogs or whatever, let its senses down and actually just run right in front of this camera. That's probably the only way. I don't think one strolling casually through the woods is going to walk in front of one, but if its senses are down, it's a possibility. But who knows?
Yeah.
It's all shot in the dark. So.
Now, this isn't in my book, but something I've thought of. I hear a lot on the documentaries and stuff I watch, and A&E does some really good documentaries about Bigfoot on there. But they talk about never finding the skeleton or the remains of a Bigfoot that has died, even of natural causes or anything.
Right.
You know how elephants, they say, drag their dead. They make like their own graveyard.
Yep.
And they drag them off. Well, since a Bigfoot is so much like a man, I believe that it's possible that when they do have one of their own that dies, they could very well be burying it. Right. That may be why nobody finds one. Right.
Yeah, and that is a possibility. Now, I know a lot of people, that's another debate in the field of Bigfoot, is that, there's no proof that these things have learned how to use tools. So again, I don't know how we can really say that. We simply haven't been able to find a subject that we can study for any length of time to actually come up with any kind of conclusions, really, other than what we already have, which are, footprints and unidentifiable hair, and the list goes on. But it'll be it's definitely a lot of questions out there. There's more questions than answers on the subject. So, but as far as the bones and the body and stuff like that's concerned, there was a special done, I believe it was on the History Channel, where someone did an experiment with a deer carcass. They set a deer carcass out in the middle of the forest. They pinned it down so that it couldn't be carried off. They staked this thing down, cabled it down to the ground. And the purpose was they wanted to see how long it took for this thing to decompose to where there was no sign of it. If I'm not mistaken, in 2 weeks, it was completely decomposed, bones and all were gone. Because obviously once the body decays, then you have the animals like the porcupines and things like that actually eat on the bones. Yeah. And they'll actually take the bones off or eat them up. So 2 weeks, full size deer, completely decomposed with no sign of it within 2 weeks.
Yeah. Billy, I think it was actually 7 days. I think it was actually 1 week.
Was it really 7 days? Well, see, that's even better. I mean, how lucky would we have to be to happen to come across one of these things laying,
in 7 days' time,
and are they likely to pass away somewhere near, habitation, where people are?
Yeah.
Just like most of your animals, your dogs and things like that, they tend to go in areas away from people, to die or by water or whatever. So, it would definitely be. You definitely have to be a lucky person, I think, to run across a body. So, all right. Any questions, Mike, from the chat?
I did not see any newer questions. Let me just go right to the very bottom because I scrolled back up to make sure I missed any of the ones maybe in
you know what? Abe's got his hand up. Let me...
Okay. Well, let's go.
Hey, Abe, I see you got your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. She said that she's currently working on something right now, but my question is that do you plan on doing another book about Bigfoot, another novel? And if so, I hear you saying that you'd like to be on an expedition or anything like that. Billy's a great guy to take you out in the woods, but I do know some other people in Mississippi as well that are good researchers, maybe a little bit more closer to you, where they could possibly take you out on an expedition as well. And if you would like to do so, I could contact them, and maybe we can set something up where you can get out in the field.
That would be wonderful if you could get a hold of someone here. There's somebody on my Facebook, and I believe they live in Madison, Mississippi, which is up north Mississippi. But I would love to go out on one, especially before I started the second one. Now, what I have planned in my mind is I want to make this one story a 3-book set. And my mind is steady working, and, I take notes all the time when something good hits my mind. I go write it down so I don't forget it. So I'm definitely going to write a second book, but to me it would be perfect if I could actually go out in the field. That would help a whole lot. It really would.
Yeah, I mean, as far as researching it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay.
Oh, no, that's fine. Go ahead. But
sure. I was just kind of wondering. You said you had a website, but I didn't hear you throw your website address out there.
I think Billy has it. I can't think of it right off my head, but I believe. Billy, do you have the web address of mine?
You talking about the one to your book or to your?
I've got in my book.
The one going to your book. I'll tell you what. I'll while we're talking, I'll go and try to retrieve it.
It's
and I'll
the
put
Angel
the link.
Fire.
Yeah. I'll go retrieve it while we're talking.
But definitely contact somebody here in Mississippi. As long as you know them, don't send me no crazy people going to take me out and kill me or something.
No, they're pretty stand-up people. Okay, well that's all I have, you guys. If you'd like to put me back on mute, that'd be great. Appreciate it, so I can continue listening.
Thanks,
appreciate
it.
Take care, Abe.
All right, and was there any other questions, Mike?
No, not in the last. Well, there is a question, but I'm not sure if this is. Well, I'm not sure. Let me put it this way: there's a statement in all caps, but again, some people ask questions in the chat room, just meant for the chat room, and sometimes people will put it in caps. I don't know if this is meant for the author or not. She's already stated she's not really a researcher in this sense of field research, and she's got not a long background in the field, so I don't know. But there is something from Black Badge, and it says, do great apes see in color? So I don't know if he's asking that of the guest, and I don't know if the guest would have any idea on that.
I have no idea.
And I would have to be honest, I would have to actually research that because I don't have the answer either. So I'm not 100% sure, unless you are, Mike. I've never studied to find that out.
No, I couldn't be sure one way or the other myself. No, that's something I've never really even looked at. So, and again, sometimes I don't know if this was really meant for reading on air or just in chat, because I know people throw questions back and forth. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Grasshopper. Grasshopper in the chat saying to everybody, let's all type in caps. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, he's really helping you out a lot now.
Yeah. But, I remember these guys. You guys think this is funny? I remember people. I'm like an elephant. I'm writing your names down.
All right, let me get to one of these questions here. Lori, do you think these creatures migrate?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And the big question that everybody has nowadays, do you think this thing is human or do you think it's ape?
I don't think it's ape. I don't think it's fully human, but I think it is close to human.
Okay.
But I don't believe it's any type of monkey or ape at all.
Okay. All right. And during your research, I'm sure you've run across different websites and information where people are finding and taking pictures of these strange stick structures that they're finding in the woods. What do you think about those? Do you think this is something that this creature's doing, or do you think...
No.
Okay.
I have seen that everywhere, and to me it looks like something from that movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Right. Yeah, the stuff hanging from the trees and stuff.
Well, the little piles on the ground of the rocks and stuff. I've been seeing that a lot lately, but if people, I'm 40 years old, and 20 years ago when you heard of any of this stuff, people were still searching back then. You never heard of all that then, so I don't know why Bigfoot would just all of a sudden start piling sticks and rocks, and I don't know. It just sounds too much Blair Witch to me.
Yeah, Blair Witch ain't too far from here, actually, where I'm at. It's just up the road a piece. But let's see. Let me get to... have you heard... there's another theory going around nowadays where people are claiming that these creatures actually have an effect on their physical being. In other words, and a lot of people are saying that it could possibly be caused by infrasound. Have you heard anything about that, or did you run across that in any of your research? You
have totally lost me on this question. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, infrasound is actually a sound that we can't hear with our human ears, but the sound, actually the military is doing a lot of testing with it. Sound can actually be used as a weapon. There's certain frequencies of sound that can cause actually bodily harm. It can make us get disoriented. It can make us sick. It can actually affect your physical well-being.
I haven't heard anything about that, but I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that that claim that when they had an encounter with one of these creatures that they either got disoriented, they got really sick to their stomach, actually to the point of actually throwing up. But a lot of people don't know to contribute that to the smell.
The shock of seeing one.
Right. Yeah. Right. But some people think there may be something to that, and I didn't know if you had kind of run across that during any of your research or.
No, but I guess anything's possible. I'm not going to say I don't think it could happen. I have no idea.
Right. Now, what about the theory of wood knocking? Did you run across that in your
Yes, and I do believe that. That could easily be something as a warning, like a rattlesnake shakes his rattlers trying to scare us away. That could be what that is.
Right. Yeah, it could be anything. Some people think it may be a form of communication.
That's true.
Over long distances, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you have had the opportunity to listen to the what they call the Sierra sounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think these creatures may have a language?
Oh, definitely, I do. I really do.
Yeah, if you ever get the chance to look at some of that, there's a fellow by the name of Scott Nelson who has started doing a lot of research on those recordings, and he's an experienced linguist from the military.
Yeah.
And he's actually got some information out there about some of the things he's picked up in those audios. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I definitely believe that's some sort of a language.
Yeah. Mike, do you got any questions in there?
Just now, yep. Just at the very bottom, it's the last post. They just put it up there. Andy Drew popped in a question. His question is, do you think the Bigfoot live in caves or just makeshift shelters? And then he's got a follow-up for Billy and I. Billy and Mike, have you ever had sighting reports from tree sitters?
All right. So, Lori, do you think these things might live in caves or shelters?
Possibly. I mean, all areas, of course, are not going to have caves. You won't go in the woods here and find a cave anywhere. So the forest is different anywhere, but I believe they have enough sense to get out of the weather. And, yeah, I believe they could probably fashion some kind of makeshift shelter, too. I mean, beavers do it.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that these creatures are a lot smarter than what people give them credit for. I think a lot of people look at it as just a big animal, but I think it is more than that, a lot more than that, the mentality.
Right. And I guess Mike, is when he's saying tree sitters, I'm going to assume he's talking about people that are in tree stands?
That would be my guess, yeah, on the the interpretation on that. Yeah, I would imagine, yeah, hunters and people up in tree stands, I would bet.
Yeah, I haven't had any personal sighting reports from people in tree stands, but I have read many accounts of people in tree stands. Actually, one in particular down your way, Lori. I believe it was Mississippi. It could have been Louisiana, though. I can't remember. I think it was Louisiana, actually. A fellow who was in a tree stand that had but all these guys that are in the tree stands, it's funny, they talk about how this one sighting that I read, the guy actually had the gun aimed. He had his finger on the trigger, and he was ready to take a shot, and for whatever reason, he wouldn't do it.
Good thing.
He said he just couldn't do it. It looked too human, and he just couldn't do it. But I've heard of a few sightings like that. I'm sure you have too, Mike.
Oh, I've definitely heard of hunting sightings from hunters that are using tree stands. But Andy Drew just, I guess, clarified. He just typed in the chat here. The people that saved the trees is what he meant by tree sitters. I don't know.
Oh, that's an interesting question, Andy. I never really thought about that. Do those guys? I guess them guys do. I guess they will sit out there for an extended period of time. I guess if they don't want them to tear the forest down.
Yeah, I guess that's what he meant. Yeah, like tree huggers.
Yeah.
Tree sitter. Yeah, same thing.
That I don't know of. I've never, not to my knowledge, have I ever heard of an encounter report from somebody like that. So.
Me neither, and I haven't even read one of those. The hunters,
right.
Yes, tree stands and that, sure. But yeah, right. I have not heard nor even read one of, like he's talking about, somebody that's, the guy's got the bulldozers 50 yards away.
Right.
They're camped out in the top of the tree because they don't want them to bulldoze it to make a parking lot. No, never heard of that one.
Yeah.
But just a comment real quick, you guys were Billy was telling you, Laurie, about the guy Nelson, who's a former U.S. Navy crypto linguist, and he believes that these creatures have a language. Just this past month in December, there was a New York Times article in the New York Times science section that supposedly some researchers from Scotland, from some university, I think the University of St. Andrews, if I remember right, in Scotland, they were in the Ivory Coast region, and they're doing research on these monkeys that they call Campbell's monkeys. And these Campbell's monkeys, these researchers from Scotland claim, do have a language. They were out there for, I guess, many months taping them, and supposedly what they did was they rolled tapes, and they listened and recorded the calls and the sounds these monkeys made to both natural and artificial stimulus that this group, I guess, introduced into their area around them, and they figured out that these things do have a language, and they would do the same call, like, for instance, if a leopard was in the area or some kind of a big cat, they would do one call and then versus something else, and apparently they believe that they do have a language, and these are lesser apes, of course, they're monkeys, but interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, that is some interesting.
Yeah, that was just last month. Yeah, it was in the New York Times science section, and they I guess they did it long enough to verify that they were doing the same call for the same warning of danger or what have you, or whatever, food in area or whatever they were doing. They were trying different things to get them to see if they do the same calls for the same types of things, and apparently they were successful.
Right. All right. Any other questions, Mike?
Yes, we just had another question in here from Spin Dave. He just popped one in here. And he says, have you tried to get your book title posted on any Sasquatch websites?
No, I've had a couple contact me, and then I had found Billy online, and I contacted him, but other than that, no, I don't even know how to do that. I guess just write them and say, will you put me on there? I don't know.
Yeah, you could pretty much do that. Just most of these websites will a lot of times trade links and that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I did do that with one guy. His link is on my website. I don't even remember his name. I think we found each other through MySpace.
Right.
And I put his link on my page, and he put mine on his.
Right. I'm getting ready to put the link in the chat room because I just, while we were talking there, I found found your website. So there's the website, folks. I posted the Lori's website that you can go there and get some information about her book, and of course you can get it there too. I think you can buy it there too, can't you?
Yeah. Through the PayPal button that's on the website, that's directly for me. That's for people who actually want the book signed.
Okay.
And then at the top is different links like Amazon and stuff that they can order it from if they don't want to just order it from me through PayPal. Right.
Okay. And then for those who are not in the chat room and are just listening live, the website, of course, is http:// and 2// and then it's her name, Lori Ledger, LORILEGER.angelfire.com. So that's for all those who may be tuned in and listening live. All right. You got any more questions, Mike?
We do. We have another one from Andy Drew. He's a question machine tonight.
He's on a roll tonight.
I tell you. Andy, your fingers must be getting tired. Typing in all the questions. Here's another one from Andy. Do you ever go to libraries and search through old newspaper articles, I guess, like as part of your research?
No, I haven't. We have a library here. It's very small, but a friend of mine, the sheriff here, Alex Hodge, I have spoke with him, and he said that he knows for at least 100 years there hasn't been a reporting of a sighting here. But then my pharmacist, he told me that there's an old-timer that comes in there that swears he met one out in the cornfield one day. So, but no, I haven't went to the library and asked for that, no.
All right. And let's see here. Okay, here's a hard question. If you were to take a guess, how many of these creatures do you think there are in the U.S.?
Oh, Lord. I have no idea how to guess at that. I think there's quite a few. Now, somebody, I won't mention his name because a lot of people don't like him. He seems to think there's over 2,500. I don't think there's that many.
Okay.
But I do believe that the ones we have, I would say roughly 50 to 100 maybe. But I believe they migrate, they move around.
Right. Okay. And how about are you a member of any of the Bigfoot groups? I don't think you are.
No.
Okay. Here's another question that becomes very controversial in this field, but I think I know your answer.
Okay.
Are you of the kill or no kill party?
Oh, no kill, definitely.
Yeah. I agree. I'm on that party, too. I don't think it's necessary.
No, I think that's going to be a big mess up if somebody ever does that.
Yep. Expeditions. Do you think expeditions are successful?
I guess they can be. I mean, you guys do find stuff, footprints, hair samples, a toenail. But I guess I would stick to what I said earlier. I think one person out there by themselves for an amount of time would do better than a whole group of people.
Yeah, I agree. Having a large amount of people is probably beneficial mainly if you're looking for evidence. You can cover more area. And stuff like that. But, I think if you have a lot of people out, obviously you're going to have noise. But then again, you hear of a lot of stories of people camping, and these creatures seem to be very curious as to what this group of people are doing out here with a fire and laughing and joking. They kind of come and check everything out, so...
for them to be curious, though, with, campers and then not want to show up when it's an expedition, there's something there to show, though, that they have enough sense to know the difference. Right. Campers are just sitting around doing their thing. When the expedition people are out going all through the woods, they're his territory, and he's smart enough to know that difference.
Yeah, probably so. I don't think we're dealing with a dumb creature, that's for sure.
No.
Any other questions before I go on here, Mike?
Nope, not since Andy Drew's question.
Okay. Lori, do you think a discovery will happen in our lifetime?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how it'll turn out, but I do see that happening.
Yeah, I think we have more people out in the field now. Ever since the invention of the Internet, people learning that there's Bigfoot groups on the Internet, I think that it's really captured the interest. Well, plus, we have the History Channel, Monster Quest. We have all these shows that are really coming out and really, Destination Truth. We've got all these shows really pushing more information about this creature. So I think it's actually generated a lot more interest today than it's had in the past. There's probably, there's hundreds and maybe even thousands of Bigfoot researchers nowadays. So,
I think it's going to be awesome when one is proven to exist. But then if you really think about it, it may all turn out bad. It may end up being something that we wish nobody had looked for him.
Right. I know a lot of people hope it never is. I've talked to people that say, what do we do when we find it? Is it over? And I'm like, well, no, not really. It's not over. Even though we discovered it, we still don't know anything about it. We got to learn it's, where does it go? Why don't we see them? Where do they go? Do they go underground? Do they go in a cave? Do they, where do they go? How do they live? How do they, do they have a population? Do they, how do they reproduce? There's so many questions still that things that we'd have to learn about them.
Well, yeah, that's true. But the only thing that's bad about it is he would have to be held in captivity to learn that.
I know.
And he may not even be able to survive in captivity.
Right. Well, there's our warning. We've got about 90 seconds left in the show. An hour and a half flies by when you're having fun.
Well, I've had a great time tonight. I have.
Yeah, I have too, Lori, and I thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me on.
Everybody, I recommend going to Lori's site that I put in the chat room earlier. You can get her book there, or you can go to Amazon.com. It's on the front of the show page if you need a link directly to it. I've had a couple of emails of people that have read it already and enjoy it. Amazon.com says a lot of good things about the book as well. So Lori must have done a good job on it. Mike, did you have anything else before we go off air?
No, I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us again tonight, and thank Lori for joining us tonight. It sounds like an interesting book. I'll have to see if I can get a copy of that and check it out. Regina says real quick, please tell Lori thank you from Regina.
Well, thank you, Regina.
All right.
All right, and we're getting ready to go off live, so I just want to say thanks to each and every person that tuned in tonight and listened. We will have a guest lined up later in the week, so you'll have to tune in next week, next Monday night at 9 p.m. find out who that is. So good night, everybody. Lori, thanks for being on the show, and we hope that maybe you'll come back when you're, writing another book and just tell us what's going on.
Okay. Well, I thank you, and I'll be glad to come back.
All right. Thanks so much, and Mike, thank you as always for being a great co-host.
All right, thank you, and Lori, thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
right.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
A legend passed down through the generations, a myth to some, reality to others. Thousands claim to have encountered this creature from all around the world. Footprints discovered, unidentifiable hairs collected, unusual sounds recorded. Something is out there. Sasquatch Watch Radio. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the Blog Talk Radio Network, interviewing the men and women researching this phenomenon, the latest news and information, research techniques, and cutting-edge technology. True terrifying encounters, as told by those who have experienced them. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the Blog Talk Radio Network. Your host, Billy Willard of Sasquatch Watch of Virginia, brings you the most riveting discussions on the internet today. blogtalkradio.com/Sasquatch Watch Radio. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, Sasquatch Watch Radio. The truth is out there. Welcome to Sasquatch Watch Radio.
Don't get stuck in needless traffic. Be one of the Northern Shenandoah Valley commuters who slash fuel and maintenance costs and get to work faster with RideSmart. Ride sharing is easy, and we do the matching based on your location and work hours. Worried about unexpected emergencies? Our Guaranteed Ride Home program provides registered commuters a ride home by taxi, rental car, bus, or train for free, up to 4 times a year. An easier commute starts at ridesmartva.org. Ridesmartva.org. Save money, save time, and save the planet. And less stress.
Right now at Safeway, earn 4 times rewards points when you shop for participating items with Safeway for You. Shop for items like Ready Whip whipped cream, Deer Park natural spring water, Dan and Danimals drinks, Philadelphia cream cheese, and 7-Up to earn 4 times rewards points with Safeway for You. Offer expires January 4th. Plus, get select holiday essentials like gift wraps, bags, holiday decor, lights, and more. Buy one, get one 50% off. Restrictions apply. Promotions may vary. Visit Safeway.com or head in store for full offer details.